We are getting ready to go back to green flag racing at Daytona International Speedway in the inaugural running of the Daytona 250. Andy Houston takes us back to the green flag, and we're again underway. Dennis Setzer has pulled onto pit road. Trouble for the Mopar Dodge. Dave?
Marty, they have a flat right rear tire. Does that sound redundant? It's the third one today. They don't know why they keep puncturing them back there, but it's definitely a puncture. They also, the hood was up on the Mopar Dodge. That apparently was a hose clamp that had come loose. They lost some fluid, got a little sloppy putting it back in, so that's why there's a lot of fluid on pit road. But that's it for Dennis Setzer. They think he'll be okay now.
Terry Cook has, whoa, Grissom gets way high.
And Steve Grissom is trying to get out of the way, and luckily all these trucks have backed off, and looks like he will be able to get pit road, and I would guess a flat tire.
Could be another tire, Benny. Probably a lot of debris from that wreck.
Andy Houston continues to run up front. Now, NASCAR did a complete track inspection. In fact, they walked the entire front straightaway. But as you can tell, I mean, from time to time, these minuscule parts can put a puncture in a tire just that quickly.
And we're wondering if the added downforce on the back of these trucks could be part of the reason why they're puncturing so many tires.
Mike Wallace taking a look for the back bumper of the leader, Andy Houston.
Chevrolet leading a Ford. In third place, it's Greg Biffle, another Ford. Steve Grissom has pulled in and going back out. Dave, what happened?
Marty, right front tire only for Steve Grissom. It did shred and went down to the inner liner, so Steve is back out. A couple of the drivers have been radioing in that they think there is still metal on the racetrack, so these may be a result of going back to green flag racing.
Bad news for Steve Grissom, though. He has just gone a lap down because of that green flag pit stop. So his day is going to be a long road to hoe if he's going to get back into this. That's Terry Cook alongside of Andy Houston. They are shuffling in the 5th position, battling for it.
And finally, Terry Cook wisely pulls behind the 60 truck of Andy Houston and says, look, we better get hooked up and try to draft and catch all these Fords in front of that. Ford at number 98. In 4th place is Kenny Martin out of Cleveland, Ohio.
His first NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race. We're on board with 2nd place Greg Biffle. This would be just an incredible finish if Kenny Martin can even stay in that top 5 group.
If he can just hang there. He and his brothers have purchased this equipment from Liberty Racing. Last year this vehicle was driven by Kevin Harvick. So it's good equipment, and Kenny doing a fantastic job today.
From Broadview Heights, Ohio, qualified 15th, dropped back early, now finds himself in the heat of the battle. On board with Mike Wallace. Now the Fords did not look all that strong through practice and qualifying except for Wallace, but here they are, 4 of them running nose to tail.
I think right now what we're seeing are the survivors.
Looking back further into the field for our pole sitter, Joe Ruttman. There he is, the 3rd truck in this freight train. All that damage up front, obviously hurting the aerodynamics. Let's go on board with Joe on our Circuit City telemetry.
We'll check out Joe and see what kind of speed he can attain with his new nose piece. Down in the corner, he's down to 170 miles per hour, 160, not 163. Oh, Ruttman all of a sudden has some problems. Just as we go to him, we see the truck start slowing dramatically and
RPM.
No RPM. That means he has turned the engine off, and now he's trying to get. No, the engine is going to put, I do believe, in the Dana Dodge.
So Joe Ruttman, who claimed his 6th career Truck Series pole, looks to be out of this one as he struggles back to pit lane. Meanwhile, up front, Mike Wallace continues, and he has led the most laps so far.
And I would guess right now that Greg Biffle is just going to hang right there and hope that he and Mike Wallace can drive away from Kurt Busch, Kenny Martin, and Andy Houston.
Those guys are going to try and stay lined up. They want to settle this race between themselves. Probably going to have to pit inside of about 10 laps if this stays green.
Wallace has led 29 of the 65 laps run so far. Remember, the Gatorade bonus money this year goes to the guy who leads the most laps. And he just chucked up another one. Andy Houston trying to go around. More on Joe Ruttman from Dave Burns.
Yeah, Joe Ruttman radioed into his crew, guys, the gauges just all went up temperature-wise on the 18. He caught it in time. They didn't want to grenade the engine, so they feel like they had a water leak, fluid leak somewhere, and just had nothing left to help cool that motor. And when the temperature shot up, Joe said, "We're done."
While all this is going on, we'll update you also. The 75 of Marty Houston's back in the pits. That's a tough break for him. They had been running a very great race also until they got tangled up in some of the collision activity that's been going on today. 34 laps to go. Let's talk a little strategy. Amy, what have you found out about those top three?
Well, Tim Cahuth, again, crew chief for the number 2, Mike Wallace, pointed out to me that Three Forks drafting at the top of the board here is giving them the fastest laps of the entire week here at Daytona, so they feel really good about that. But I just learned that the 50 truck of Greg Biffle is overheating. Temperatures up into the 300 now, sitting so closely behind Wallace, so we may see a little bit of scrambling there amongst the top 3. Mike Wallace, though, very happy with drafting with 2 Fords behind him. Feels as though the truck is as strong as it's been all weekend long.
Happy hour, we saw speeds at 191 miles an hour, so if they're going quicker than that, and if they do get to some overheating, this team may have to break up that draft. So we'll find out when we come back at the Daytona 250 here at Daytona International Speedway. It looks like he's trying to give it a little space. But there ain't much air there. There he comes out of there.
He's trying to get a run to get front, trying to pull the thing off, but he can't do it.
Okay. All right. Blimp. I got the copy. A unique bird's eye perspective. Today's race brought to you by the Bud One Airship and Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR. Great shots, guys, and that is the lead pack here at the Daytona 250 as the laps begin to wind down. Look out, Kurt Busch. He gets out of the draft. He may lose a spot or two. It's Mike Wallace in front of Greg Biffle. A report from Amy East. Biffle may be seeing the temperature soaring on his Granger Ford. The 4th truck in line there is a lap down. Here comes Andy Houston in 3rd. He's trying to take 2nd.
And he goes by Biffle with the aid of the lap truck of Dennis Setzer. Now, if Setzer helps that 60 truck to the front, the caution flags should come out. Then Houston should let Setzer have the lap back.
Definitely, Benny. They might have made a deal. Dennis Setzer in that Mopar Dodge has been strong all day. He got in that position to get a lap down because he got a flat tire when we went back green.
Here comes the slingshot. We talked about it quite a while ago, and they're going around Mike Wallace. Setzer trying to carry a light right on through. He's a lap down. Houston is the race leader. And there's Mike Wallace's view as he's 3rd truck in line, 2nd overall.
And you can see coming off turn 4 at Daytona late in the afternoon, you drive into that sun, it really obscures your visibility.
So much so, NASCAR allowed an 8th crew member over the wall to specifically clean the windscreen when we went back to racing after the 2-hour and 24-minute red flag period. Side by side, this is going to slow both of them down. Houston momentarily may pull away a little bit. Let's get more on our race leader, Andy Houston. Amy?
Well, Ray Evernham hit it right on the nail. The deals are being made down here in the 60 pit. He has been talking with the 1 truck. Together, the 2 of them, whether it's in front or behind one another, they want to team up, go to the front. And, of course, if that yellow comes back and the 60 is in front, he will indeed give the 1 truck his lap back. So a lot of deals being made down here on pit lane as far as drafting.
Amy, you better go talk to Mike Wallace because he just took the lead again. That's our 24th lead change among 12 different drivers. That is an all-time record in both categories for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.